Okay, so as I was looking through the SEC, I was just befuddled by the state of the quarterback rooms of the SEC. It's crazy. So, do you want to just run everybody really quick through the top two QBs of each team while I pull up my spreadsheet here, and then you'll run them
Sure.
through, and then we'll kind of do like not a kind of like a snake ranking where you give your number one, then I say where they went, then I give my next highest one. I'm fascinated to see where you landed on some of these.
Yeah, I have some controversial ones. Just as a quick heads up to our viewers, so I decided to rank them. I was sitting at my bed ranking them late at night, and I wrote out the list as a quick flash here. And unfortunately, as I was writing out the list, I discovered that I am physically incapable of drawing an ampersand for Texas A&M, so it just became Texas A at M, because I thought A plus M sound was really weird. So now it's A ampersand M. So it's Texas A at M. So anyways, Alabama QBs Tyler Buckner, Jalen Milroe. That one is, I don't even know. That's like when you see a cat stuck up in a tree and you're like, how did that get there? Arkansas, KJ Jefferson, Jacoby Criswell. Auburn, Robbie Ashford, Peyton Thorne. Florida, Grant Mertz, Jack Miller. Again, that was like, wow. Georgia, Carson Beck, Brock Vandergriff. Kentucky, Devin Leary, Kea Sharon. LSU, Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier. Mississippi, Jackson Dart, Spencer Sanders. Mississippi State, Will Rogers, Mike Wright. Missouri, Brady Cook, Jake Garcia. South Carolina, Spencer Rattler, Luke Doty. Tennessee, Joe Milton, Nico Lemalivia. Texas A at M, Connor Wiegman and Max Johnson. And then Vanderbilt, Al Swain, and then Ken Seals. Those are the current 14 SEC teams, and then we'll rank them. So, you want me to give my number one? I'll give my number one first.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's to me, there's not even an obvious number one. Let's just see where you landed.
It's a little tricky, but I actually have a what I believe to be a pretty clear number one. I think LSU is the number one.
All right. That's where I landed too.
Yeah.
Daniels is good. Nussmeier's been there a while, and he was a highly recruited guy. That's my thinking. Is that kind of what your thinking was too?
Yeah, I think Daniels is the. I think it's a very clear argument. He's the best quarterback in the SEC. Now maybe we're hyping him a little too much, but I mean, especially towards the end of the year last year, he started to really turn it on, airing the ball up more downfield. That offense became a lot better. And honestly, I mean, here's the thing: that Georgia team. I mean, we talk about them winning the national. Like the thing is, I think there is this false sense that of the dominance of that team, considering the fact that they won the national championship game. I think 51 or 56-0. And the thing of it is, people forget that they needed to have Ohio State kick one of the worst field goals ever in the history of college football to get to that college championship game. And then they forget that their LSU star quarterback was injured early in the SEC championship game, and then they still put up like 1 billion points against this apparently best defense ever in college football. And I think there's an argument, and I mean, now, okay, of course, I did bet LSU spread in the SEC championship game, but I think there's a solid argument that LSU would have covered the spread and potentially could have won that game had Daniels not gotten injured. And I think we'll never know because he did get injured and that happened. But I think he could probably be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. So that was my number one. That's your number one.
Yep.
So okay, right. So then you give.
So my number two. I'm already just.
This was tough.
Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas too. I have Arkansas too.
Wow.
It's tight between 2 and 3. It's tight between 2 and 3 because I think we probably have number 3 the same. South Carolina.
No.
No. Okay.
That's wow. Really, give me the case for South Carolina at 3. Woof.
It gets really thin after 3. Here's the thing though, right? Like
it is really thin after 2 to me.
Yeah, I mean, Spencer Rattler he was a quarterback for Oklahoma. He wasn't bad. He has had some impressive plays. There has been some hype of him as before there was a hype. I mean, he was supposed to be a first-round pick 2 years ago. Still not a first-round pick yet, but there's been some hype from him to being drafted in the NFL. He does have some good plays. He does have a good arm. So I think he's probably the third best quarterback in the SEC. But I want to see what your third one is.
Yeah. About Rattler, he was he was really poor until those last two games where he got a lot of juice into his stats. I'm going my number three QB room, and this just kind of is, just says how thin it is. I'm going Georgia. With I
Wow.
think there's zero career passes in that quarterback room. They're both highly, ignoring just the talent that's around them. They're both highly recruited, and I think I'd feel more comfortable with starting either of them if I had to start, either of them, and I said or below them. I'd go with these two guys, even though they haven't played. I have an idea who you're probably going with next, but
Well,
let me
okay.
see
So
if I
okay.
tell.
Oh no. So wait, how does it work? So then it.
So
Okay.
I
So
gave my number three. So you give me just your next highest, your
oh,
number
okay. So you
14
say
now.
we're okay. No, I think okay. Okay, I'll get my next. Okay, so my fourth is Tennessee.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Not that I'm smarter than you, but there's a case to be made there. Go ahead and make
Yeah.
it, please.
The thing is, Joe Milton wasn't bad. He was also a Michigan transfer too, I believe.
Yeah,
He wasn't bad because he basically um Hendon Hooker did injure himself. He got ACL tear late in the season. Joe Milton did come in. I think they won the bowl. Oh no, they lost the bowl to
yeah.
North
No,
Carolina.
they blew out.
Oh, they blew out someone.
They blew out a pretty decent team in the bowl. I forget who it is.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
His What I would encourage you to do is, and this is why I still have them. I have it fifth, just because it gets murky here. It gets murky after basically number two. Look at his numbers in his two starts. He started two games. Vandy, he was really average against a bad defense.
Oh, it was
And
Clemson,
then
by the way.
he
They
got
beat
just,
Clemson 31-14.
yes, yep. And his numbers were just bonkers in that game. But
Mm-hmm.
look at his numbers against Vandy, who really wasn't that good. Um, and then if I throw in, you know, at how bad he was at Michigan under a good offensive coordinator in Josh Gaddis, and you remember his first year at Tennessee. I don't know if you remember that big game against Ole Miss, the golf balls and water bottles and mustard on the field
Yeah,
game.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember how that game ended, where he just ran out of bounds when the clock expired? I can't
Oh,
shake
that's.
that. There's something that
I
just
remember that. Yeah, he didn't even
I
throw the
just don't
didn't
know
even
if
try
all
the
the
pass.
cylinders fire there. Yeah, he just
That's
ran out of
fair.
bounds. Just okay. Yep. I guess that's the game.
That's right. I'd forgotten that was him.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, how good he was in that game and that offense, he might be, but you know, I had him at fifth, not fourth.
Mm-hmm.
All
That's
right.
that's kind of fair.
So
Okay.
my
Oh, go
fourth
ahead. Yeah.
then is Mississippi, and
Mm.
this is Dart was a little disappointing. He was okay. He wasn't as great as I expected, but he was he had better numbers than Rattler and some other folks here. Spencer Sanders is, I think, a pretty decent number two for college. He's as a backup, he's fine. So I put them four.
That's so. I think
Where
our
did, where
listener
did you have
def.
Mississippi?
I will miss it 8, or no, actually not 8. It'd be
Wow.
10. I think. Oh no, sorry. Oh no, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, 10. 10. They're 10. So I think you and
Okay.
I have different. I think you weigh experience a lot more. I think I weigh, I think potential and
I had
I
Georgia
like here.
third.
Yeah. Well, I think okay, that's fair. I think I
I don't know
downweigh
what to.
them.
That's the
Yeah.
purpose of this. It's impossible because there's not a
See,
ton of talent and there's not a lot of experience. And
yeah. I
I
think
don't know. This is an I don't
I.
know exercise.
Mhm. I think I think I maybe over heavily weigh experience, and I think you kind of you're just kind of like, oh, they never thrown a pass, so they could be good or bad, and I'm just gonna assume it's good because but I like you say I think it's good. You say I think it's gonna be good because they were like a 5-star. I'm like I have no proof. Like we've seen a lot of 5 stars be bad, so like I have no proof that is true, right? So I downweighed those teams like that. So um I had what am I at now? 5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have Kentucky at 5. I don't hate Devin Leary. I think he's actually not that bad. Um, again, we're getting really thin here. Like I'm like, that guy was okay.
It is, and and you're
He's
still in the
5.
top half of the conference. That's what's
Yeah,
scary.
it's like,
Yeah, I
this guy
had
was
them at
okay. He's
7,
5.
just right at the top half.
Yeah,
He
and then
had his numbers were pretty poor last year, but before his numbers are good. So
he did get
yeah,
injured last year, so maybe that's okay. So now this one is going to be controversial, and
yeah,
you're gonna call me biased for 6, because this is me saying
okay.
I value experience and potential upside versus complete unknowns. I have. Can you guess who I have at 6?
Is this the ampersand?
No, it's not ampersand. No,
Texas. Okay.
no, Texas isn't
Wow.
there
What
yet.
is?
No,
Don't say Florida.
it's Florida. Because here's the thing.
That's come on.
I put them just above Alabama, and it was a huge debate between them and Alabama. The only and I'll explain the Alabama part in here too. Why is Buckner the starting quarterback? Why? Why is it not Milroe who cleaned up the Arkansas game and played on finally and beat out Texas A&M? Why is it Buckner, a May transfer? Why is Buckner the starting quarterback? Because Buckner did not inspire confidence last year, and to be honest, if I had to take Buckner or Graham Mertz, I'd maybe take Graham Mertz over that.
Uh, you. I can't
It's
disagree.
not
I
bad.
had basically Alabama barely ahead of Florida. I had
There,
them
see,
both lower. I had Alabama
yeah.
11 and Florida 12.
Wow, you really. The thing
You're
is,
going to
yeah,
regret this. I'm going to make you wear that all season. 6th. Wow.
that's fair. That's
You made
fine.
a big
I'll
mistake,
take
buddy.
that.
I love you, but man.
No, I mean the thing of it is, I like that's fair because the thing is, all these are bad. Like they're all really bad. Like I can't
It's, yeah. This is
like
the SEC. This is the
it
Premier
means more.
Conference. And these quarterback rooms. The top half includes Graham Mertz, a
Yeah,
top half SEC quarterback. That's what's nuts. Although
yeah.
that's in your book. I have them at 12, and I have, all right, so then I had Alabama 11. So let me just see how many we've kind of gone right here. Okay, so what's your next highest one?
I'll go
Who do you have
Auburn.
7th? You said Alabama? Oh,
I
really?
have it'd be Bama at 7. I'll put Auburn at 8. Um,
Okay. Oh,
it,
so you had Alabama ahead of Auburn. Okay.
yeah. I mean, Ashford actually was apparently has been pretty good. He was apparently really good at the spring game. Was an Oregon transfer. He didn't get to start because they brought in Bo Nix. So that's I'll give them that, and also the fact that Peyton Thorne was like okay at Michigan State, the fact that apparently Ashford's beaten Thorne out, that's actually a very positive sign. So I think that means that Ashford's actually pretty good. So that means he's probably better than Tyler Buckner, but I just don't know if Tyler Buckner's like, is it just okay? Tyler Buckner's going to start for the first couple weeks, and then we're going to put in Jalen Milroe after a couple weeks of development, or is it like, no, Buckner's the best quarterback on this roster? I don't know, and I'm willing to roll the dice on. I'll put them right behind there because I feel like Saban will not. If Buckner doesn't perform, he'll be gone, and it will be someone else who probably has a higher upside. But again, with Hugh Freeze now head coach of Auburn, they're probably going to take a step up, but I don't know if they're going to do that uh, right yet. So
Yeah. I'm a Robbie Ashford skeptic. I actually have Auburn 13th.
wow,
I saw him just throw so many. He's not a thrower of the ball, which is important at quarterback. I'll just keep it at that. So Florida, just to recap here: Florida, Alabama, Auburn. You have 6, 7, 8. I have them 12, 11, 13.
wow.
Um, you've got some interesting situations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm way ahead of you on some of these. Then okay, so who do you have ninth?
I'll go Georgia at 9. There's just probably a quarterback who's
Okay,
not bad, and that's
yes,
probably 9.
that's the hardest one. But you have two. You make a fair point about we see 5 stars flame out all the time. You've got 2 of them there. Odds are one of them will be okay.
Well, because
I'd
this
be
is the
very
thing.
confident to
Because
say odds are one of them will be better than Robbie Ashford or Graham Mertz. Please take no offense. And definitely Tyler Buckner, but to each his own. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
it's
You were going to say?
no, because it's interesting because basically Stetson Bennett Like it's not like basically Kirby Smart had JT Daniels and then he basically benched JT Daniels in favor of Stetson Bennett. It was not out of love of Stetson Bennett. It was just like I think he is safer with the football than the other thing, and then they won a national
Hmm.
championship. But again, the fact that you're willing to change up your highly recruited quarterback for that means that you felt strongly about it. And to be honest, if one of these guys was that good, Stetson Bennett was a senior. He could have left. He could have graduated. I think why couldn't they have beaten out Stetson Bennett last year, right? Now again, maybe it's because he's a national championship quarterback, undefeated, don't want to mess that up. But I kind of feel like if they were really that good, he would have gone with them over Bennett last year. But that just could be, well, we're gonna just ride with Bennett and that's it. Because there were some times the Georgia did not look particularly good last year, especially on offense. There was the time they beat Missouri by like 2 points. That's not particularly comforting.
Yeah.
Like, and again, it's not like they didn't have offensive weapons. They had Brock Bauer. They had Darnell Washington, tight end. They had some offensive weapons, and they're just like, no, we're gonna stick with Stetson Bennett. So that's why I think like they could be good, but I think there's also a non-zero chance that they're not as good as Stetson Bennett. And if they're not as good as Stetson Bennett, then yeah, they're ninth.
Okay. And you said you had Mississippi 10th.
Oh yeah, Ole Miss
Um,
10th, and then
wow.
I'll go Mississippi State at
Yeah.
11. Yeah,
I actually had
My-
them 6th. I'm not sure what we're gonna get, but Will Rogers is proven. His numbers, I think, you see this with Mike Leach quarterbacks all the time. The numbers take a hit because they throw so much short stuff that the efficiency looks like it's not there. They have a low yards per attempt. But he's proven, which is more than I can say about a lot of these people. Um, okay, wow, we've got interesting. So we have left Texas A&M, Missouri, and Vanderbilt in your bottom
so
three.
one quick thing I will say about Will Rogers is that I think towards the end of the season they kind of figured it out. I think they figured out how to shut him down, and I
Mm,
think that is a huge problem going forward. I think if you're sitting there and you're Alabama or you're like, I mean, Alabama pulled them apart. A bunch of other schools figured it out. I think LSU did as well. I think there's now enough tape of LSU and Bama picking this kid apart. I think if you're a defensive coordinator, you now know how to beat Will Rogers. And again, how much of it was a product of a Mike Leach offense? How much of it, like, I think he's a good quarterback, but at the same point in time, I think they figured out the offense and they figured out how to beat him. And I think he may have been a product of the Mike Leach and the fact that unfortunately Mike Leach is gone now. I worry about that. That's why I have them ranked so low. There's an argument to make them higher,
totally
but
fair.
mhm.
Yep, I totally fair. Can't
Yeah,
disagree.
12. I've
All
got
right,
Missouri.
you've got a.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, really?
I mean, it's not.
Brady Cook?
You think that
Or
you
is
think
this
you think?
a sneaky Jake Garcia thing? Brady Cook stinks. I
I mean,
mean, at this point, they all stink, but yeah,
I don't know. It's not
I had Missouri
particularly.
10th.
I mean,
Uh,
I have them 12th, so I am actually lower than you. So, but no, I mean, it's not
yeah,
bad. It's just that again, we're looking at the SEC. These are quarterbacks who are generally thought of as potential NFL caliber starters, and he's not, and a lot of these aren't, to be honest. Like when I'm like, I think Graham Mertz could be the sixth best quarterback, there's a problem. So yeah, I've got Missouri, and
yes,
then
which is the point of
13th
the exercise here.
exactly. I've got 13th
Yes,
Texas A at M, and then 14th I'll go Vanderbilt is the
yes,
classic 14th pick.
yeah. We agree on Vanderbilt. I actually had A&M 8th,
That's fair.
which it's yeah. Anything. I mean, it's I don't know. It's the nuclear meltdown position. So who knows? Although I think that gets fixed with Bobby Petrino here, but I
Yeah,
can't really say I buy any of these guys. Although I think they'll be okay, but it's just more speculation than knowing what we have. I mean, just going
but
based on recruiting, and Max Johnson kind of stunk at LSU too.
mhm. The thing is, like their quarterbacks, like Connor Weigman, Max Johnson. These are like not like I'm not like, oh man, that's star quarterback power there. Like it's like the guy was like a
Yeah,
third, like it's like. Connor Weekman was like their third string quarterback last year. Max Johnson was like a second stringer. Like this is not a particularly inspiring quarterback room. And we're now going to be like, that's the
No.
eighth best quarterback. Like this is the thing. I have questions about this unit, and I think it's fair to put them as eighth because I think you can make an argument from anywhere from Bama down. They're basically the same. Um, but yeah, I'd be very concerned about because the thing is again, okay, yes, it's a different offensive coordinator, and maybe they can change up the offense and not make it this like insanely hard to understand system. But is Jimbo going to let them call the plays? Right? Is Jimbo calling plays initially, or is he just going to be like, I'm not calling plays anymore, or is he going to call plays for a couple
Yeah.
weeks and then
That's a
the boosters are going to
whole.
talk to him? That's the
Yeah,
SEC
Texas
podcast.
A&M is going to be an interesting preview. Yeah, that's going to be a fascinating one. That's content rich right there. I'll just say that.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah.
But yeah, I think
So
that's
just
mhm.
it's very noteworthy. You have Graham Mertz as in the top half of the SEC, and if I sort on mine real quick, I have, and I deserve scorn for having Will Rogers and Devin Leary in the top. Well, Devin Leary is okay. Jackson Dart, how about that?
Yeah,
And two guys in there taking a snap. Carson
yeah
Beck and
you've
Brock Vandegrift. Good
you've
job.
got you're gonna have to carry Jackson Dart, and I'm unfortunately gonna have to carry Graham Mertz. So I don't know who's got it worse. I think probably me, but
Yeah,
not by a lot.
neither of us.
No, the thing is like Grant Mertz has like, and one of the reasons why he's higher. I have him at 6. Is like he has had some good games, but like there have been a couple. And the thing is, maybe you put him in a new court, you put him in new in the South, you put him back in the South, you where it's warmer, completely new offense. Because like again, maybe he doesn't function well in a run heavy offense. Maybe he needs to pass more. Maybe short yardage passes, or maybe something similar to, I don't know. I think there's a non-zero chance you could potentially see a Bo Nix like resurgence for Grimmers. Does that mean
I
he's
was about
good?
to
No.
say, you sound like you're making the last year Bo Nix case is exactly where you were going. So,
I think there's because the thing is like
all right, yeah,
it's
I'm not
possible.
saying I buy it, but yeah, I'm saying yeah, I agree. There's a path I didn't see before.
I
Okay.
think there is a path. Again, I'm not you'll not catch me dead with a Graham Mertz Heisman ticket. But like, could he become an okay quarterback? Sure, yeah. That's the argument. My argument is like, yeah, he could maybe become okay. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this will be an interesting season for the SEC if that's kind of quarterback play we're looking at. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I like
Yeah.
maybe like how many of these guys could you see realistically in the NFL? Two,
Well, depending on what happens with Georgia, two
fair.
or three.
And maybe Bama too.
Yeah.
Maybe Jalen. But like, why is Buckner
No
starting them?
way.
Like this.
No.
This is the thing. Like,
It is,
why is Buckner
Milrow was
starting him?
horrible last season. Milrow doesn't believe me. It's usually I kind of do the idiot's theory or the idiot's guide to game theory. It's like, what do you want your opponent to do? Usually there's like, I don't want this guy. I don't want to face this guy. Literally, if I'm facing Alabama, I'm happy with what they have. There's no bad choice for me. You're gonna start Tyler Buckner, great. You're gonna start Jalen Milrow, great. I'm happy with it all. I don't know how they ended up here, and again, that goes to the SEC preview. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
No, we're
content
gonna.
here. Just
Yeah.
starting with this quarterback position.
Starting with specifically Bama, and Bama is a case study for potentially a victim of your own success, but we will talk about that in the coming weeks. We've
Yep.
got another month and a half before we start this off. But yeah, that has been part 2, and we might be on part 6 by now. I'm not sure. But yeah, that is it. We'll be recording again, and you can now see us now. We're doing video now, so. And we're gonna cut up a lot of shorts. You're gonna see shorts on YouTube and stuff of funny moments and stuff. And yeah, we'll see you. I'm not sure. We'll see you sometime soon. See you later.
Next